Your marketing in China will fail if you don't know this. This is Fung Cheng, and I have been doing export and import business in China for over 10 years. So the Chinese market is so big, and every international brand and company wants to get in. But in order to get into the Chinese market, you really need to have a very good marketing campaign. You want people in China to know what product or service that you are selling and the good reasons for them to buy from you. So in this video, I'm going to let you know what marketing you're going to need if you want to get into the Chinese market. And if you are doing the marketing in China wrong, you're going to fail no matter what. So it is extremely important for you as a business owner to know the right marketing ways for the Chinese market. Alright, sounds good. So before we start, did you know that the China's middle class is projected to hit 1 billion by 2027? That's more than 3 times the entire population of the US now. Imagine tapping into just a fraction of that market for your business, right? So you get my point. So you may be asking, what about the middle class? I mean, why we should care about the middle class in China? The middle class, they represent, the group of population in China who has the real purchasing power. And these people are willing to spend a good money for good product. They're more looking to pursue a better lifestyle. So if you're a brand owner, that you have a very high quality of product or service to sell, you must be consider, the market of China toward the middle class. I'm gonna guide you to unlock the Chinese markets, addressing the concerns and providing actionable steps to get started. Alright, sounds good? Grab your notepad, and this is gonna be a gold. Let's get started. First of all, you gotta understand the Chinese consumer, cultural and behavioral differences. The first one is group mentality. In China, the community is key. You gotta understand that your marketing should appeal to the group rather than the individual. For instance, a product or service that can be shared among families and friends. If your product or service can shared among families and friends, it's gonna have more traction than a personal luxury item. The next one is pragmatism and future orientation. The Chinese value investment that promise long-term benefit. That's why the Chinese really like to buy gold, right? So China right now is a top country for the gold consumption for the individuals. They want to buy something that has a long-term value, right? So when you are selling your product or service, you gotta highlight how your product is a good long-term choice and try to make it as your product key selling point. The power of celebrity and influencers. The role of the celebrities in China is a little bit different than what we are thinking in the Western country. Because in China, celebrities aren't just faces, they are trend setters. In the past 10 years, I've seen a lot of foreign brands, which was just very small companies, small brand in their country. And then at some point, the products or services, were introduced by the influencer in China, the key opinion leader. Their brand, their product got a lot of exposure in China in a very short period of time. All of a sudden, because of the influencer, right? Everyone is looking for the brand. Everyone is contacting the brand owner and wanting to be their distributor, more exclusive distributors, for their brand in China, right? You may have heard that happen and happen again. Some brand, they just got super famous in a short period of time in China, in the Chinese market. In the past, we didn't know why that happened. Say in the 10 years ago, right? We didn't know why that happened. We just thought that, the Chinese, they just love a certain type of product or certain type of brand. We didn't know what happened in 10 years ago, but now we understand that it was because of the influencer, the power of internet. But now the KOL or the influencer marketing, is getting more matured, right? You can actually get a lot of exposure and promoting by those KOL if you can find the right one and willing to pay something in return. If the KOL loves your product, the followers are likely to as well. Alright, so the next one, this is gonna be very important if you are from the Western country, because in the Western country we have Facebook, we have WhatsApp, we have Instagram, but they are not available in the Chinese market. So you gotta understand that in China you have different game plan in terms of the platform and the social media, right? So the next one is platform and community building. WeChat, the super app, to be perfectly honest, you really can't live without WeChat with you in China, because it is handling every aspect of your life right now. This is not just only for messaging, right? You can actually use it to make payments, to do anything, for your life, your day-to-day life in China. So it is not just a messaging app. It used to be, right? But right now it is a lifestyle, from payment to shopping. Even though if you go to hospital or any other place, then it requires you to get the number first. You can just use WeChat to reserve it for you. And what I've been telling my friend in the Western country, I always tell them that, when I try to explain how important WeChat is, I'm gonna give them this example. I tell them that even though if you want to donate some money, your money, to the homeless people in China, you still need a WeChat, because they might not accept cash anymore. Right? They got a badge, on their neck, and on the badge, you can actually see the barcode of the payment, the WeChat Pay. If you want to donate money to them, right? Take out your phone, scan the barcode, and transfer them money. This is how it's working right now. Even though even the homeless people, they use WeChat Pay to accept your donation money. So you as a brand owner, a company owner, right? If you want to get into the Chinese market, you have to build your community on WeChat. This is a famous saying. Before you sell, you must build. There are lots of different ways to do marketing on WeChat, right? One of the most popular one is the WeChat public account. As a business, you gotta have a WeChat public account, because it represents your business or your brand in the Chinese community. And if you have been doing Facebook in your home country, right, you have like a Facebook group, but in China we have WeChat groups. And the group is very, very important, and it's crucial if you are trying to promote your brand, your product or service, because your customers or your potential buyers, they're gonna join to the WeChat group, and then if they see any issues or any concerns, of your products or service, they're gonna ask and share the concern in the group. So it is very important for any business, not only when you as a foreign business, to have to be present on WeChat, such as public accounts and WeChat groups. You gotta create your own community, because this is where your audience, your potential customers hang around. And this is gonna be a very good way for you to share your products and your brand stories within these groups. It can dramatically increase your visibility. I've already seen a foreign brand, they are doing very good on WeChat, right? And they create groups, not only one, but 10, 20 of them. And then they have a Chinese employee, right? Her daily job is to manage the WeChat groups. Her day-to-day job is to, to engage with the audience, to solve, their problems because the people is gonna be very active in the WeChat groups. And this is something very different between the WeChat group and the Facebook group. It is that, the Facebook group, if you are the admin, right, you are the owners of the group, sometimes you don't really have to solve the problem or the questions, right away. You can just handle it the next day. I mean, of course, if there's some urgency, right, you gotta solve it right away. But for the general inquiries, right, just the normal stuff, normal thing, people usually take some time to respond it. But in WeChat, in China, right, the culture is a little bit different. People expect an instant, response to the inquiries. So this is why when you're trying to shop on the e-commerce platform in China, such as Taobao.com or JD.com, right, or Tmall.com, if you have questions about the product on the store, on the listing, then you shoot them an inquiry, you shoot them a message, and then you expect to get response within 30 seconds. Yeah, you're right, 30 seconds. If you keep waiting and the waiting time pass 30 seconds, you're gonna skip the store. You're gonna find the other product. I know it sounds crazy, right? But this is what actually happening in China. If you are running a brand in China, you gotta provide a super good customer service, instant response to your customers, to your potential buyers. This is not because the Chinese, they are always in hurry or they just can't wait. No, it's not like that. It's because it's very competitive in the Chinese market right now. If you got a great product and service, good, but you also have to have an excellent customer service. How you handle the customer service right before the buys or after the sales is gonna be very important because this is what the consumer is expecting nowadays. They're expecting you as a brand owner or a good company, has to handle everything perfectly. Well, you may be thinking, all right, this sounds impossible, right? This is just too tough for us to get into the Chinese market, right? So we just can't provide perfect customer service, instant customer service. This is gonna be insane. But you know what? Let me tell you, there's many good ways, ways that you don't actually have to spend so many money and resources, into that. I'm gonna explain that more in my other videos. If you're interested to learn more about that, be sure to subscribe my YouTube channel. Alright, so let's get moving. So you gotta understand that, in the Western country, right, we have Amazon, we have, Walmart.com. Then in China, we also have some giant, right, some big e-commerce platform that dominate the Chinese market, such as Tmall and JD.com. Of course, the Taobao is the other big one. You already heard of this platform, right? In the past, 10 years ago, if you are, for one brand that you want to sell to the China, the first thing that you're gonna want to do is, to create a store, for your brand, in JD.com, on Tmall, on Taobao. You wanted to have a flagship store, right, on Tmall. And because you have heard that, that is, the best thing that you can do for a foreign brand. But after 10 years has passed, this is not the case anymore because it is very, very competitive, for any businesses. No matter if you're a foreign brand or a local Chinese brand, it's super competitive, on Tmall and JD.com and any other e-commerce platform. I've been seeing a lot of brands nowadays. They are spending a lot of money. They're putting a lot of investment, to create the flagship store on JD.com, on Tmall.com, and then they don't see a lot of good returns because it is just too competitive. You gotta keep spending a lot of advertising money, right, just to get the traffic. It is okay if you are a very big company that you have a lot of budget to spend. You just want to be present, on this platform because you're not looking to make a lot of sales, right? You just want your brand to to be trustworthy, in the Chinese market. But on the other hand, if you only have limited budget, right? You are a small or medium size of company. What you can do is that instead of putting that money, right, that investment, into JD and Tmall.com, you can actually authorize other good companies, the distributors or the wholesalers in China to sell it for you because this company they already have the e-commerce stores on all platforms for many years. They really know what they are doing. All they need is a good product and your authorization as a brand owner, right? So you don't really have to do it all by yourself. You gotta do it in a smart way, right? Just try to find the good companies, filter the bad ones and get the good ones, and then give them products to sell and give them authorization, and they're gonna do the job for you. So this is why the good marketing in China comes into play, right? A lot of companies they have spent so much time and resources creating their sales channel, their distributions, their warehousing, their overseas office, right? But then at the end of the day, to be honest, you as a brand owner, what you gotta do is that you gotta have a very good marketing campaign. If you do it right, you're gonna see a lot of people lining up to help you sell your product. It's because the Chinese market is so big, right? Not mention the overseas Chinese community, right? So it is impossible for a single company to cover the whole market. You gotta, you do it in a smart way. And from our experience, we have been doing this business model for foreign brands for many years. So stop thinking that you can do everything by yourself, in the Chinese market. It's gonna eat up all your time and resources, and you may not see a good return at the end. If you are interested in learning more about, how to set up a good business model, something about this topic, be sure to subscribe my YouTube channel. I'm gonna release a lot of videos about this topic. Alright, so let's move on. The next one is navigating entry barriers and legality, meaning the market entry strategy. First of all, you gotta define your niche, right? As I said, China is so big, it's vast. If you're thinking that I can cover the whole China, right? I can sell to everyone in China, the 1.4 billion population, then you gotta rethink this concept. You shouldn't have that kind of mindset because it's gonna cost you a lot of money to advertise your products to 1.4 billion population. This is gonna be impossible, right? So let's say it only costs you 10 cents to advertise your product to one person in China. It's gonna take you 14 million, right? $14 million just to advertise to 1.4 billion people in China. You get my point. So this is going to be impossible. So stop thinking about that. So what you got to do is that you got to identify and cater to a specific target demographic for effective marketing strategy. You got to choose the right battlefield for your product, for your marketing strategy, right? You are not hitting everywhere, right? You are only hitting the demographic, the market, specifically the niche for your product. Say if you have a technology partner, right, in China, then this is going to be great because you are the only one who can use that partner. But if your product doesn't have that kind of partner, then it means that you really have to consider, carefully about how you're gonna position your brand and your product. The more focused your niche is, the easier it's gonna be for your marketing campaign. Your niche is gonna affect a lot of things in the marketing, right? For example, how you position your brand, how you price your product, what KOL, what influencer you're gonna work with. How are you gonna select or choose your resellers in China? Right, you get my point. But of course, this is much more than that. Such as your brand story, your packaging, your slogan, your design, your Chinese website content, a lot of stuff. Failing to find your niche, for your products in the Chinese market is gonna be a huge mistake. You will lose a lot of money and opportunities in the market. You might have a very good product and service, but if you have a failing marketing campaign, it's gonna cost you a lot of things. You're gonna be toast. Someone is gonna be smarter than you, right? I don't care if they are local Chinese company or the foreign company, your competitors, right? They will introduce a similar product to the right niche. So you're basically giving them some courtesy, right? A good product ideas for them to make money. So this is why you cannot succeed without a good marketing strategy. China has a very good market potential. With the right strategies, understanding their culture and be patient, you can tap into this gold mine. I understand that if this is your first time to hear about the marketing in China, then you may be overwhelmed, right? You may be thinking, wow, this is just too tough. It sounds very difficult. But I can tell you that, as soon as you understand more, you learn more about the market, you will actually find a way, an easy way to penetrate your product into the market. This is why you are seeing a lot of brands, international brands from different countries. They are doing very well, doing excellent in the Chinese market. As soon as you find the right niche, you know what you are doing, you're gonna be fine. It only takes some time for you to, you're gonna have some patience, right? Alright, so this is it today. Before we wrap this video, I would like to hear your comment. Comment below and share your experience with others. If you would like to learn more about the tips and tricks for the Chinese market, be sure to subscribe my email list. The link is in the description below. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.